Alright, now that the West is in decline, I think it's time to reflect and ask ourselves what went wrong. Of course, there are many factors, but some are definitely more impactful than others. And I think one of the worst things we did was the financialization of basic human needs, especially that of real estate. Because the need for safety and having a place of your own is so deeply ingrained into us humans that it is right above the need for water and food. And so I'm sure in the beginning it all sounded great. Why should you not help people buy homes with a small loan? Think about young people that want to start a family, or people that have already saved up a lot of money and just want a nicer home with a jacuzzi. What if we just take all these groups and move them one level up so they can buy even nicer homes? Yeah, the banks will be happy because they earn a lot of money on their loans. The buyers are happy with their new homes, and the sellers are happy because they can buy. They have more buyers and can sell at higher prices. It's basically free real estate, right? Well, what could go wrong? I think the main problem is that housing has a very inelastic supply, because if you think about it, very few people want to live out in the woods. Most want to live close to their family and friends, close to their workplace, and places where they can have fun in their free time. And so what happens if you have inelastic supply and a really hardwired insatiable demand? Well, if you add loans into the mix, the thing that increases is price. Because, in the beginning these people were able to buy homes outright. But then these people were able to take out a loan and compete with them for homes. And so they too had to take out loans. And maybe some of them already wanted to take out loans to compete with these people that were previously able to buy fancy homes with cash. And so even they needed to take out loans to still outcompete these people. And so what you end up with is a vicious cycle where less and less people can buy a home outright, and people need to take out ever higher loans. It's a vicious cycle, and once housing becomes an investment because prices always rise, you get another vicious cycle on top of that, because then people are even less likely to sell their houses, which means the supply becomes even more restricted, driving price even higher. And so what you end up with is the worst of both worlds, because you didn't increase the percentage of people that can actually afford a home at all. But now everyone is in debt and basically a slave to the banks. And people always say, in China, the state owns your home. Well, maybe, but isn't that better than the state, than the banks? Because at least in theory, the state has to a little bit care about its people. And the banks, they only have to optimize shareholder value. So it's their duty to squeeze you for all you have, which is what they have done. And so the boomers have built the motherlode of all ponzis. And we're basically faced with the dilemma of deflating the bubble, causing many of them to lose their savings, their house price, or we basically kind of die out because people just can't start a family if they don't have a place to live. And many are not willing to sacrifice their life and take out a loan they will never be able to pay off. A further problem is that once your middle class is in debt to their eyeballs, they become really weak because they are basically always just working to pay off their loans. They can no longer afford to take a risk and, start a band or a business. And they can also not really speak truth to power because they are basically running as fast as they can just to stay in place already. And I don't want to say that we can never have loans for things, but we do have to consider how hardwired the desire for the things is and how elastic the supply is. I think for cars and TVs it's probably okay. And so I think the solution is that we need to accept that there is no free real estate. Some people will never be able to have a home of their own, but it is much better if people own things instead of making them indebted. And so now I think we need a wealth transfer by escaping into hard money, by like Bitcoin and gold, because it's the boomers that built this Ponzi and they need to deal with the consequences of their actions. And also if we go into Bitcoin or gold, we will empower the people and not the bankers. And so hopefully we will learn to never financialize basic human needs ever again, because we can be a society of owners or a society that is owned. And whenever you give in to the sweet siren song of free money from the bankers, they will suck the life out of you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.